Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of Trades Toolbox from Shake and Speare. Today we're going to be looking at how to optimize your Google My Business listing. There are lots of core areas. It's going to be a slightly longer video than usual, but take your time, be patient, keep referring back. Let's get started. There are 8 core areas to optimize on Google My Business. The first one is your core information, such as your name, address, and telephone number. Most of this you would have already sorted out when you set up the listing in the first place. The next is your main core category. This could be that you're a heating engineer, a plumber, a decorator, or any of the other trades, but it's got to be the most important one. Next is the description. Now in this section you just need to go into the details of who you are and what you do, but we'll explain how you can really optimize that later. Following that, photos. Essentially, the more the better, and even better if it can include photos of you, sites that you've worked on, jobs you've completed, or even your vans and livery. This is your website, which sounds straightforward, but it's really important that you put in the correct URL spelt correctly. It would be incredibly annoying to have set up your listing, got people to come and click on it, and then not be able to click through to the correct website. Following that, we'll look at your core business hours, and you'll be able to set that depending on which day we're working on. It could be different hours for Monday to Friday and different hours for Saturday, Sunday, or you could set them the same right across the board. Reviews are an incredibly important part of your Google My Business listing, and we'll talk about how you should go about replying to those reviews when you get them. And finally, we'll look at Google My Business posts, and we'll look at how you can leverage these to get even more exposure for your business. Okay, so you're logged into your Google My Business listing, and in this example we're going to be using one of our clients, Adrian Plumbing and Heating Limited, who are based in South Ockington, East London. So the first page that you come to is going to be the home page, and there's a bit of information here. But if we want to get straight into optimizing your listing, we need to head over to the Info tab. We start at the Info tab because it pretty much includes most of these other tabs anyway. So click onto Info. And then we can see we have all of the basic information, most of which we already added when we go through the setup, but it's really worth going through each individual section to see how we get on. Let's get started with the optimization process. The first thing we're going to have a look at is our name. Now this should be absolutely fine already. Here we can see Adrian Plumbing and Heating Limited. That's perfect. The next one is actually one of the most important steps in our optimization process, and this is our main category. So we just click the pencil here, which is the edit, and we use this all the way through. Click the pencil, and we can see what category we are. The primary category here is gas engineer, but it's always worth seeing if you can add an additional category which matches up. In this instance, we'll click and type in gas, and we can see there's gas shop, gas fitter, gastro pub. These ones probably not as relevant. The most relevant one, gas engineer, we'll leave that there. But a synonym might be heating engineer possibly. We can see possibly central heating service, that one might be worth clicking on, and we can add that as a category. Add another one, let's type in heating again, heating equipment supplier. You could argue that supplying and fitting boilers and radiators could be heating equipment supply, so we can add that one as well. Make sure to try and keep it as relevant as possible. The primary category is the most important one. Additional categories can massively help. And then we just click apply. Whenever you make changes, you might spot that on one of the sections which you've just edited, it says under review, and this means that it's pending moderation from Google. It may take a day, it may even take just an hour, but your changes won't immediately show when you make these edits on Google. Okay, so the next part we're going to have a look at is the address. Now it's really important to match this address exactly, even down to the layout, as it is on your website. And the reason for that is Google correlates all of the information it finds about your business online. It looks at your website as one of the main parts. If the addresses don't match up, Google quite literally sees these as two different business locations and won't pass a kudos between each of the different locations. So check your website and check this listing as well. Now for the address, we can double check this against the website. So let's just go across to Adrian's website here, and we'll just scroll down to the bottom where we have the address section. And here we can see 176 Orchard Road, South Ockington, RM15 6HT. And let's go back, and that's exactly the same. That's exactly what we want, and that's perfect. Next up, we've got the option to now add a service area. Now, if we didn't add the service area, Google Maps would simply show up your listing if a person was near to your home address, whereas most trades go out and service particular areas or postcodes, towns or counties in their area. So here we're going to add a service area. We'll go back to the website and check to see. Now the areas where Adrian works is Dartford, Ilford, Romford. Those are our big core areas. So we'll just list those now. So Dartford, Ilford and Romford. And we'll add those and we just click apply. Again, it will take a minute, but then it will put that under review because it needs to check that you do actually serve there. And they will go back and check your website. So it's always worth making sure that that listing is correct. Next up, we're going to have a look at the hours that your business is open. Might not seem massively important, but actually Google will prioritize your listing if you are seen to be open at the time of the search. So here we've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday all the same time. Saturday, slightly different, and Sunday, a completely different set of hours. It's worth doing this one and make it as accurate as possible. In terms of the additional hours, you can set this if you have any special hours that you might open. For instance, you might be open for emergencies only a couple of weekends a month. It's entirely up to you how you set this one. Next, we've got another one of the most important aspects of your Google My Business listing, your mobile telephone number or your landline telephone number, whichever one you're happy for people to be able to ring through to. Again, it's really important that this is laid out exactly the same as on your website. So here we've got 07899 space and then the rest of the number. Let's go back across to the website, have a look at the home, load this up and scroll to the bottom. Here we can see that actually the listing is on the website has got the telephone number all in one. Therefore, it's worth us going back to this listing, editing, and just removing that space. It's the same reason as Google has for the address. It has to be exactly the same or it doesn't correlate. It sees them as slightly different. This next section is essentially your handle. It's a bit like you have on social media or Twitter. It's not massively important in terms of optimization. Following that, we've got our website URL. Once again, incredibly important to make sure that this is completely accurate. One way to test is to simply open it up, copy, open up a new tab, paste, and there we go. It takes us through to our website, so we know that this one's correct. The next two sections are less important because it's where you can set up your appointment links if you had a booking site that you might be able to use, and also where you can set up products where they will begin to show on Google and people could click through to your website to purchase them. The majority of trades, however, won't be using appointment link URLs or products, so we'll skip this for now. The next section is one which is worth putting some effort into, and it's the services that you offer. This is linked directly to the categories that we've already set up. So here we've got the primary category of gas engineer, which has got a subsection of being a plumbing and heating engineer. We've got our other categories we just set up, central heating service and heating equipment supplier. You then have the option here to add another service. So in this instance, it's related to gas engineer. So let's go back to the website and see the type of services that we offer. So we've got boiler servicing and installation, gas and heating repairs, emergency call-outs, boiler replacement and heating system upgrades. So back to the listing. At the moment, we don't mention those ones. So we're going to click add custom service and you can type in anything that you want here at all. So we'll put in boiler installation and just hit enter. Then we can add another custom service. It could be boiler servicing. And let's go back and just have a quick look. Central heating repairs. Let's put that one in. Central heating repairs. And you can keep doing this for all of the different services on your website. Each one of these services acts as a potential keyword so that if someone were to type in and they were in this particular area, they were to type in boiler servicing in, let's say in this instance, Romford, you have an opportunity to appear on the map or on Google for that particular search. If we hadn't put in boiler installation and someone used that key phrase, Google doesn't know that we offer that and therefore our listing is unlikely to show. Now, if we were to go back to the website, we can see that there are tons of other services that we could offer. We won't go through that now for the sake of keeping the video from going too long, but it is well worth adding each and every one of them for the reasons we've mentioned before. So if we go back to info at this point, and we're almost done on this main page, we can now see that we can also add highlights. This isn't a particularly useful section, but the business description, however, is arguably your best opportunity for optimizing your Google My Business listing. So if we click here, we have up to 750 characters, which is each individual letter and space, to get our business across to people. And it also counts as our keyword opportunity. That means we need to put in our description exactly what we do and where we do it, because this gives Google an opportunity to see that we're working in that area, delivering a particular service that's relevant to people's searches. Okay, as if by magic, here we go. A description we've written. It's only up to 613 characters. I strongly recommend that you use all of the characters available, because if not, you're just wasting an opportunity. So here we've written a quick one, and we've taken some of the information from the website. We've put here at Adrian Plumbing and Heating, useful to get your brand in there, because if someone searches for you, it always helps. We're proud to serve the East London area, and then we have directly said the areas that we serve. We've said that we are plumbing, gas heating, boilers. Alongside boiler installations, we provide boiler servicing. You can see how we're including the keywords that we're hoping that people are going to search for. We can then just click apply, and again it will go into review. So now that our description's done, we've not got much left to do. We can add our opening date, which just lets people know how long you've been in trade for. It doesn't really help in terms of optimization. But one of the core things that people will look at are your photos. So if we click add photos, we can see we've got an opportunity to add a logo, an opportunity to add a cover photo, which will show across. And then you can add videos, interior photos. There are lots of different opportunities up here, and you can just simply click add photos by clicking this plus icon in the top right. You would then just drag and drop them from your computer and you're done. We highly recommend that you add as many photos as possible. Google much prefers listings with additional photos. At the moment, we've only got one uploaded by a potential client, or a previous client rather, and we've got an outside shot created by Google Maps itself. I strongly suggest that we add some, so we'll go away and do that now. Ta-da, as if by magic, here we go. So we've uploaded a logo, cover photo, and taken a few recent shots from some work that's been carried out. You're already ahead of the majority of your competition at this point, because people simply can't be bothered to do this, but Google really appreciates it. So going back over to the info page, we have pretty much covered the majority of the things on here at this point. Don't worry about the advanced information. There's not a lot that we can do about that. So going across to the left-hand side, we now come to one of the most important aspects of Google My Business, and that's the reviews. Okay, so on the review page, this is actually an opportunity for us to use our keywords once again. Now, you might ask, how is that even possible? Because reviews are obviously left by your customers. So here we can see a review left by Mark a couple of weeks ago. We've used Adrian on a few occasions. On his last visit, we had a leak from a boiler on Saturday night, and the review goes on. Now, we have the opportunity here to reply. Now this is where we can get our keywords in. So rather than just saying thanks very much for the review and leave it at that, we have the opportunity to address the problem that they had. So we can say thank you very much for using Adrian Plumbing and Heating to conduct your boiler repair. So we can see here that we have used the keyword boiler repair. Now that is completely irrelevant to the review that was left. However, lower down here, this person here didn't leave a review, they just left a rating. If we were to try and then stuff in the keyword when it's not really relevant, Google will see this, Google doesn't like this, and they will drop you down the rankings. So be careful, make sure it's relevant when you're replying, and all you have to do is click post reply. There are two final screens which we're just going to have a quick look at before we wrap up this video. The first one is going to be the Insights tab, which shows you the type of searches that people have actually typed in and when your listing has been shown. We can see here gas engineer near me, number 5. This one's particularly interesting because that is based purely off the user's physical location. So it shows that someone near to the address that we had in South Ockington was searching for a gas engineer. It's worth checking in on this occasionally, seeing what type of keywords people have been using. The final part we'll look at is the posts section. Now this is where you can essentially write very small miniature blogs, put up offers, add updates, events, all sorts, and it will be attached to your Google listing when people search. It's just another way to get eyes onto your listing. Okay, so there we have it. The main areas to optimize your Google My Business listing. There's a lot covered in this video, so keep referring back to it and keep going back to optimize your listing whenever possible. Remember that SEO and Google My Business optimization is the long game. This will take time, but the results will pay in the end and you'll see your business climb the ranks. This has been Speare, delivering another Trades Toolbox on Google My Business optimization. Hope you've enjoyed it. Remember to like and subscribe for the next video. See you then.